Couldn't play the game anymore. We couldn't do it anymore. It had come to a point where it was no longer creating magic, and the camera sort of being in the room with us made us aware of that it was a phony situation.
In fact, what happened was when we got in there, we showed how the breakup of a group works. We didn't realise that we were actually sort of breaking up, you know, as it was happening.
Just the same as it was before, you know, the year before, when we were last in the studio. There's a lot of kind of trivia and games that were being played.
Well, I think it shows as an absolute fact that we were going different places, you know. You know, I've mentioned it before, the energy for the Beatles was waning. You know, we put in 1,000%, and then it was dwindling now. You're like, oh dear, do we have to turn up? We have to do that thing again? I want to do this, and John wants to do that, and you know, George was off, and you know, people would, you know, we had families.
And I remember thinking of it like army buddies. One of the songs we used to love in the past was Wedding Bells. Those wedding bells are breaking up, that old gang of mine. And this idea that you've been army buddies, but one day you have to kiss the army goodbye and go and get married and act like normal people. It was a bit like that for the Beatles. We always knew that day had to come. When John hooked up with Yoko so sort of intensely, that was kind of obvious that there could be no looking back after that. You know, I always felt that he had to clear the decks of us in order to give her enough attention.
It takes a lot to live with four people over and over for years and years, which is what we did. And we'd called each other every name under the sun. We'd got to blows. We'd been through the whole damn show. We knew where we're at. We still do. We'd been through the mill together for more than 10 years. You know, we've been through our therapy together many times, you know.
You know, and a lot of days, even with all the craziness, it really works still. Instead of working every day, it worked like 2 days a month. You know, and there was still good days. We were still really close friends. You know. Then it would split off again into some madness.
You know, it was quite obvious that the Beatles became, you know, I mean, the thing that it started out being, it gave us a vehicle to be able to do so much when we were younger, and then we grew right through that. But it got to a point where it was stifling us. There was too much restriction. You know, it had to self-destruct.
There was always a possibility that, you know, we could have carried on. We weren't sitting in the studio saying, okay, this is it. Last record, last track, last take.
But I think at the point we'd finished Abbey Road, it was really, the game was up, you know, and I think we all accepted that.
It was magical. I mean, there were some really loving, caring moments between four people. A hotel room here and there. A really amazing closeness. Just the four guys who really loved each other. It was pretty sensational.
You know, they gave their money and they gave their screams, but the Beatles kind of gave their nervous systems, which is, you know, a much more difficult thing to give.
Well, I'm really glad that most of the songs dealt with love, peace, understanding, You know, it really did. If you look back, there's hardly anyone says, go on, kids, tell them all to sod off, leave your parents. It's all you need is love. Oh, John's give peace a chance. There's a very good spirit behind it all.
It's just natural. It's not a great disaster. People keep talking about it as if it's the end of the earth. It's only a rock group that split up. It's nothing important. You know, you have all the old records there if you want to reminisce.